Okay, back in the garage, another day working on the Busa. So, I think, given my limited amount of time I have today to work on this, I think I'm going to focus in on the brake system. So I'm thinking we try to bleed the brakes, put new fluid in. I popped these caps off and looked at it. The fluid looks like it's probably the original stuff from like 2012. It's super, super dirty. So I think we'll bleed the clutch and the brakes. And then if you remember, I think from my first video, I mentioned that these brakes just suck. And single disc brake on the whole machine. The brakes kind of suck. I'm probably going to maybe scuff up that rotor. It probably got oil and grease on it at one point. I think it's because they probably got grease on it, either from the chain or from the CV or something, and I think the pads are like totally gummed up. So we're gonna try to get the pads out of there, take a look at them. Once I get them out, I should be able to find some replacements for it. And then maybe we'll get the caliper out of the way and we can go clean this rotor really good, maybe like some brake clean with a Scotch-Brite pad. I think that'll probably do it, but these brakes don't work. You can stand on that pedal and it'll just barely stop you. So, probably a good idea to fix that. Alright, so that's what we're gonna do. I already started looking at this. I'm pretty sure I just need to remove that bolt right there to get the brake pads out. But my socket, it no fitty. It's too big. So I think this is the right size because it fits these other bolts, but not inside that hole. So we're gonna go to the grinder, we're gonna grind this bad boy down, see if we can get it to fit in there, and maybe we'll be able to pull these pads out. Oh yeah. Let's try it out. Ho ho! Look at that precision. Like a human lathe. Alright, let's find out what happens when I take that bolt out. This screw's got a bit of rust on it, so I'm going to put just a bit of penetrating oil in there. Normally I would not recommend that because if this gets on the pads, it'll probably ruin them. But since my pads are already ruined, why not? All right. Question is, which direction do these pads want to come out? Do they fall down or do they lift up? So it looks like there's probably an ear on the bottom of these pads that prevent them from coming out the top, which means we're gonna have to take the caliper completely off. All right, let's take a look at these pads. I'm no brake expert, but they do not look super good. Pretty shiny and glazed. Alright, caliper's off. It actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. Turns out I didn't need to take it off to get the brake pads out. For some reason they were just kind of hung up in there. They will slide out the top. So that's good to know, but that's alright because it'll allow me when I go to bleed it, I can point it up more like this and make sure that I get all the bubbles out. Alright, so game plan is brake clean and a little bit of a Scotch-Brite pad. See if we can't clean this rotor off some. So unfortunately I cannot see a part number on these pads, but I do see that they are EBC, I think they call it green stuff. So that's a start. I can probably get the dimensions off of it, go online and buy some new pads. EBC green stuff, something or other pads. So definitely not going to want to put these back on. They feel very gunked up. Yeah. So these are going in the garbage. Alright, so let me show you my brake bleeding system here. Powerade Zero bottle. Critical that you use a Powerade Zero bottle. Drilled a hole in the cap, and I got this piece of tubing. And if you can see down in there, I put a zip tie around the tube, so that way it doesn't accidentally fall out. Alright, go ahead and open it. Fluid coming up?
Yeah.
Okay, close it. Okay, so it's actually been about 3 weeks since I started my brake job on the Busa. You saw last time I was bleeding the brakes and I cleaned off the disc rotor, but the brake pads were like totally fouled. I probably could have gone through some process of cleaning them, but I figured, hey, brakes are kind of important, might as well just buy a new set. So I went with these Hawk DTC pads. Not exactly sure the model number. They've got several different compounds. Actually, I could probably look at the back here. DTC 30, if you can see that. That's the compound, HB 100. So I found by looking online that these are a pretty close fit to that the brake caliper I had. The only thing I had to do was drill out this center hole to 3/8. So it wasn't a big deal, I just drilled it out and then the brake pads fit in there perfectly. So I've got those installed already, I just went ahead and did that. But I think that's going to conclude the brake job. We've got new fluids, everything's been inspected, we got new brake pads. So now we'll start on the next project.